Hey, this vlog I made primarily for the Vloggerheads community because Vloggerheads is, unless someone can chime in with a better platform, the last bastion of conversational vlogging. I mean, I've been gone for about a month, a year. It doesn't feel like that. And so I go to the site and immediately I see, wow, two exclamation points. Okay, let's have a conversation. And that's by Big Rob. And Big Rob, two thumbs up, as Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert would say if they're evaluating this as a movie, which is close, right? But I digress. And Big Rob was talking about how vlogger heads had become less of a go-to destination for him. There was less talking. Well, hopefully this contributes to a change there. Now I'll get right to the point. I Social media can ruin a great relationship. And in this specific instance, about a couple of weeks ago, no, yeah, I met this, I met a woman at a local place in Oakland, and we just hit it off. And for me, the big driver was that she appeared to be as interested in me as I was in her. And we went out to dinner late and had an incredible time. And then we went out again on that later that week and had a bit of a perturbation, but that was manageable. Specifically, she had made a previous engagement in San Francisco, and I think was trying to work that in rather than the other plan that I thought we were going to do. But we worked it out, and we still had a fantastic time at the Oakland Museum. Then I was headed out of town for my mom because I spent a lot of time in Georgia. My mom is elderly. I'm the only child, and being with my mom and being in her company is number one paramount importance to me today. So we were talking about when we're going to see each other again, and of course I'm coming back because among other things I maintain my apartment there, right? But I'm left, and so what happened after that? I'm just going to pick this up and talk. Was just kind of bizarre. I mean, I friended her on Facebook, fine, and prior to that we were texting. Now there there was uh, a kind of an observation that I made based on an exchange she and I had over dinner regarding our what we were in terms of relationships. But on social media, her patterns seemed to go against what she said, and I made note of this. I, which is something I think probably I should not have done. But everyone looks everyone else's Facebook page, and particularly if you're interested in dating someone, you want to know what's up here and there, right? That's only natural. So, uh, what I got back was shocking. It was She was actually damning me for what I'm accustomed to, which is social sharing and vlogging and running my material through my Facebook feeds and everything else. And she said, "Well, I feel like I'm being marketed to by you." And I thought, what? Or she felt that she said, "Well, you're certainly proud of your blogging is very good, but you're, I think, trying to say boastful." And I was thinking about her words, and if I say, for example, I started Oakland's first blog, well, I did, right? Uh, but I don't say that over and over again. It was it was odd, but I took it in the spirit of, hey, that's a great thing to say. I'll try not to be that way. That's an eye opener. I didn't expect that. That's the way I took it. And so things were fine. And then the next week, they began to change a bit. And again, we're not constantly interacting. I'm headed to in Georgia first. Everything's cool. And then after that little exchange, things got a little dicey. Then I was headed to Chicago for the NFL draft. But what I noticed is if I made a comment on something and I was sharing an observation, if it didn't fit within her precise idea of what that content was, she would take the comment down. and I'm commenting on content that she put up. Like, for example, there was a murder of an LGBT blogger. Well, I'm a video blogger and a blogger, not LGBT, but in my way of looking at things, that's got nothing to do with it. Bloggers are being murdered around the world, and the rate of increase in these activities has become frightening. And I made note of that, and I talked about the history of this. And she said, "What does it have to do with this person? They weren't a blogger." And actually, they were. They were. But because I didn't, I guess in her mind, address the LGBT part, there was something wrong with my entire post, even though I didn't ignore that either. And I think part of that is because it may be just a difference in our ages, because I go back to when Proposition 8 in California was the controversy, and we were out there fighting for LGBT rights and blogging from a perspective that someone would call progressive. That was right there. You can see that right on my YouTube channel. So I was a bit more than a bit surprised there. But I explained in a very reasoned term what my position was and what I was trying to get across. And it took a bit because we were texting and not talking to each other, which is the other problem. The other problem. But we did resolve it. So, but what I noticed is that if I and she didn't post often, but she wouldn't like anything that I put up, if you will. But uh, it became for her an exercise in not liking a comment that I would make. And the recent issue for us was that I I, I, I commented about the Beatles because she put up a post about a video about the Beatles, and I said, the Beatles. My comment was, the Beatles. The Beatles were established 2 years before I was born. And their first hit, Love Me Do, came out a few months later after I was born, 1962. That was the comment. Well, she took the comment down. And prior to that, a few days earlier, we had a similar exchange, and I was basically thinking, hey, if you don't like me as a person, just tell me to go away. Um, and in this case, it was a text I sent her, not a social media. It was a text, and she said, "You're spamming me." And I thought, I'm spamming her. That was the first time I had texted her that entire day. The first time. And I hadn't texted her the day before that. So to say I was spamming her just really creeped me out. I was like, where is this coming from? You know? So then she says, "Gee, I'm sorry, Zinni. I'm sorry I'm so touchy." But to my mind, that's the reaction of someone who doesn't like me, you know, as opposed to a person who I thought liked me. I thought this woman liked me, which is why I was so interested in her, aside from all the other things and my admiring her background and everything. I was, for reasons I won't go into in detail here, perfectly convinced she liked me. But to dislike a person on such meager grounds is scary. Is that the norm today? Am I losing? Am I missing something maybe? But I don't know. But when we were face to face, you know, things were much better. So I thought. But social media just has wrecked it. And, I haven't been back home. And I'm thinking, God, if I go back home, because now after the whole Facebook friend, I defriended because I thought, oh, hey, if I defriend, then she doesn't have to see or get upset with anything that I post or see my name. And I explained to her that I'm an open network, and she's like, I gotcha. So I don't know. I don't know. I know it's admittedly painful because this is someone I really liked, but you know, there's with social media, it adds an extra layer of how we relate, and I think we have to develop a playbook for that. You know, a set of mutually accepted ways of engaging with each other if we're trying to date each other, frankly, or moves, something like that. I think that's the next step. Now, maybe I missed that book. If you know that book or that memo, let me know about it. I don't think so. I've been around this a while, but I want to know what you think.